This video is brought to you by Gamersubs. Use code MHB at checkout for 10% off your next order. Well, here it is. At the start of the month, I challenged myself to platinum all 3 LEGO Star Wars games by the end of May. We platinumed the Clone Wars and the Force Awakens with little issue, having a blast pretty much from start to finish, and life was sweet. But in the back of my mind, I knew what was to come. You see, LEGO games typically are pretty chill platinums to go and grab. They don't take too much time, and they're pretty simple to boot, if not a wee bit repetitive. The Skywalker Saga, on the other hand, says to hell with all that. How do we torture those pesky completionists? I know, we create the largest LEGO game to date and fill it with thousands of collectibles. That'll take upwards of 60 hours to complete at a minimum. Yeah. This isn't a beat around the bush type of intro. I unlocked the platinum trophy in LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, and I seriously think it took a piece of me with it. As always, if you do end up enjoying the content, be sure to like the video, comment below some more platinums you'd like to see me tackle next, subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos, and go over to twitch.tv/MayorHairBear if you want to see some of these platinum journeys live. But for those unaware, what is the platinum journey like for the Skywalker Saga? Well, according to PSN profiles, the Skywalker Saga ranks a 4 out of 10 in terms of difficulty, requires the usual 2 playthroughs, and should take a whopping 100 hours to complete. Yeah, that's the big difference this time around. The Skywalker Saga, true to its name, is enormous for a LEGO game, as it takes us through the events of all 9 main movies with the prequels, originals, and sequels trilogy, and has you venture across the galaxy with 24 explorable planets to boot. That's 46 trophies in total, 45 levels to complete twice at a minimum, 225 minikits to obtain, 135 level challenges, 380 characters and 123 ships to unlock, 19 data cards or red bricks to find, and the big one, over 1100 Kyber bricks or gold bricks to find and collect to top it all off. There's 1200 in the game, but you don't need every single one to get the platinum. You can skip at least 30 of them. Yippee. This is the biggest grind I've attempted since getting back into trophy hunting in late 2022, and right now it's not even close, so sit back, relax, and let's relive this almighty grind that we started back in November last year. Now step 1 is still business as usual. Make your way through the story and enjoy. Again, there's 45 levels to complete, 5 levels per movie, which took me roughly 14 hours to get through, unlocking 10 trophies for completing each episode.
The Phantom Menace. Attack of the Clones. Woohoo! Revenge of the Sith. A New Hope. One of my off-stream games. Trophy. Woohoo! Return of the Jedi. The Force Awakens. Here we go, Last Jedi, done. The Rise of Skywalker. And it's true, all of it.
But of course, that wasn't all we unlocked during this time, as I also got the trophies for earning 17,000 studs. Random number, but okay.
Ooh, first trophy. Alright, that's an interesting trophy to get, but we'll take our first trophy.
Complete all level challenges in a single level. Don't worry, we'll get back to these shortly.
Okay, another trophy for something.
Got a combat multiplier of 30.
Fuck, I don't like you either.
Achieved True Jedi in a single level.
Think you're some kind of Jedi?
Defeated 3 enemies with a single explosion.
Harder than Puppy gets just... Ooh! Trophy.
Shot the helmet off 50 enemies.
Ooh. Who gave you permission?
And completed a flight level without dying like the programmer we are.
I can fly anything!
Later that same evening.
Did I know what the I'm supposed to be doing? I was not paying attention when we did that last thing. Only 5 hours, 20 minutes? I mean, who knows when I'll finish this level, dude? I don't know what I'm doing. There's this car, but I don't know where this car wants me to go. I wasn't paying attention to what, like, the last thing I did was. I think I was talking to chat. We'll say that's what I was doing. Yeah, definitely feeling stumped by Child's Puzzle. I think that pretty well sums it up.
Don't mind that. The LEGO games really make me question my own intelligence at times. So after 14 hours, we'd finished the story and collected 17 trophies to boot. And this is where I have to make this very clear. The Skywalker Saga, from a casual perspective, is easily one of my favorite LEGO games. I love the Star Wars universe, and I'm never going to be upset about reliving that childlike wonder of playing through the prequels and original movies, and that was no different here. The story mode was a blast to get through and was something that did put myself and chat in a bit of a goofy mood.
That was the funniest fuck. Ah! That's like the dude, that dad crying. I still love you. I sent you my R2D2 attempt as a voice message on PlayStation. That's not bad. That is not a bad effort.
It's just how I visualized the complete saga being back in the day, and even the sequels, which I have no real interest in watching again. The Force Awakens is alright, but goes downhill quickly from there. They still made playing through those movies a lot of fun. I say this now because I will be very critical of the game later on from a completionist perspective, and just want it to be known that I can easily recommend playing this game to most people, again from the casual perspective of playing through the story, because it really is great nostalgia to re-experience some of these iconic moments in Star Wars Legoified. Anyway, with step 1 complete, it was time for step 2, which is a bit different to usual. We needed to begin the stud grind with the ultimate goal to obtain the trophy Only One Business in the Galaxy, for earning 10 billion studs. That's right, it's back. To do this in the most effective way possible, you need to grind the levels Stay on Target in A New Hope, or a skip and a jump in The Rise of Skywalker, as both are absolute gold mines for farming studs. They're both flying missions that just rain studs from start to finish very quickly. The cycle is basically do the mission enough times until you have the funds to buy one of the stud multipliers, which are not cheap here, needing 443 million studs to grab all of them, and grab the massive times 3,840 stud multiplier we need to make worrying about studs a thing of the past. I did most of this grinding off stream, accidentally grabbing 2 trophies in the process for grabbing all the mini kits in a level, and destroying 100 TIE fighters. But with the stud multipliers obtained, I figured we'd jump into step 3, considering there's still plenty of studs to be obtained naturally to get to 10 billion, so into free play we went to complete all 45 levels again. Now, free play changes the most from game to game. Some have multiple types of collectibles, some just have the one. Here in the Skywalker Saga, each level has 6 Kyber bricks to obtain. 1 for completing the level, a total of 3 for completing the True Jedi requirements and grabbing enough studs in the level, 1 for completing the 3 level specific challenges, and 1 for finding all 5 minikits in a level. It sounds like a lot more to do than usual, but really they halve the minikits and True Jedi is a staple. However, the new addition, at least in my own LEGO experience, are the level challenges, and these do inflate the free play runtime quite a bit. Each level has 3 challenges to complete, and in your run through the story, you'll probably get at least 1 done per level by complete accident, maybe even completing the challenges your first time through. The challenges themselves, for the most part, aren't too difficult to grab, but they can also be a pain depending on if they're tied to specific moments in a level, and with no chapters inside missions, if you mess it up, you gotta restart and try again, which is frustrating. But again, like everything in this game, with enough time and patience, we got through it. Another 14 hours later to be exact. Just before the 30-hour mark, we finally started seeing some reward for our effort, creating 25 disguises as a hero character.
A little short for a stormtrooper. Oh my goodness. Thank Christ, we finally got a trophy.
Achieved True Jedi in every level.
Ooh, trophy!
Completed all the level challenges.
This should hopefully be the last section. How did I get hit by a TIE fighter before? Alright, no more training do you require.
Collected all minikits.
Woohoo! You needn't worry about your reward.
and with one final run through the flying mission, obtained our 10 billionth stud.
Stay off the stream, you get 3 trophies when I'm done, when I'm gone. That's just a coinkadink, as we get another one. See? We got one while you were here.
And after 28 hours, that concluded our time with the levels and ready to move on to step 4, the grindiest step of all. Step 4 is our final step, and remember those 24 explorable planets I talked about? Yeah, it's time to complete them. So what does this entail exactly? Well, each planet has varying numbers of things to do, but in total we need to collect and complete 1100 Kyber bricks, which, to put it in perspective, when you complete all the levels 100%, you end up with 270 of those 1100 Kyber bricks. 140 side missions to complete, which will unlock the ability to buy all the characters and ships you need. That's right, they don't unlock by completing the quest. And 10 galaxy challenges, which usually involve finding something on each planet like the Wandering Wookiee, or completing a shooting gallery, whatever it may be. It's a lot of stuff to do, and this is where I just need to rant, because Traveler's Tales, this ain't it. The galaxy cleanup, while having some fun moments, is mostly just pure filler. Now, the Kyber brick collecting is just pure and simple brain rot. Most planets have upwards of 30 in a section of the planet. That's right, planets like Tatooine, Coruscant, and Naboo have 2 to 3 big ass sectors, which would be awesome if they didn't also have over 70 Kyber bricks per planet at least to collect. Not to mention, most of them are the exact same to collect on each planet. Some are just in plain sight, some need you to stand on different switches, some need you to shoot targets or just climb up really high. Very few feel planet specific, and I'm not saying you can't have them at all, or that some aren't a good time to try and figure out how to grab, but it's just way too much. That's not even to mention the bigger pain in the ass that I'll get back to in a second. But brain rot, I can go into zombie mode and just power through. It sucks and I will call it out, but the fact is we've all played games with more or less meaningless collectibles, and that's the Kyber bricks, just due to volume alone. However, that's not my biggest issue with the galaxy completion. No, what I cannot stand about this grind is more so related to the side missions. Now don't get it twisted, the side missions are usually the highlight of the planet's completion. They're a good goof, some of the boss battles are really unique and a good laugh, and if there weren't 140 and maybe 70, eliminating the repetition of some of these missions like the space battles or go find this person, I'd have no real complaints. The issue is, and again this ties into the other collectibles too, they don't just involve the planet you're on. A lot of these missions have you trekking across the galaxy to complete, or aren't even unlocked at all because you haven't found a specific Kyber brick or completed another quest on some other planet. It's this needless back and forth that is so infuriating and genuinely feels like padding in a game that already has a stupid amount of samey things to do in it. I just don't get this decision to lock things off because, oh, you haven't completed something on Naboo yet. Yeah, I'm trying to complete this planet I'm on now and then move on. I don't want to go back and forth with all these planets to complete them. It's the old adage that more isn't always better. Quality over quantity, which some developers just don't seem to comprehend. This game could have had half the collectibles and missions and been way better for it, and I'd be here glowing about how I want more LEGO IPs to get this treatment. But now I need to always add the caveat, oh, I'd love it if they did a LEGO Middle-earth like the Skywalker Saga, just with less meaningless crap in it. Anyway, that's my rant done. Back to the Platinum, we began the galaxy grind going after Camino, as it's one of the smallest planets, fully upgrading a character class in the process.
Bing! Raw Untamed Power. Rishi Maze. Alright, that's the first of the galaxy grind done.
Then moved on to Kashyyyk.
The Slice. Hey! Complete all events on Kashyyyk, and that was a really easy, galaxy.
And it was after Kashyyyk in January when I put this game down. I was roughly 35 hours deep at this point, and I just needed to play something else. Apparently, a lot else, because it took me coming up with this challenge for May to finally sack up and decide to go back and finish what I started. And this is where I just locked in. Yes, it was tedious crap that was boring me to tears, and I was determined to get this done, if for no other reason than to know I don't have to look at any more LEGO or Star Wars games for a good long while after this. Mainly LEGO. Maybe Star Wars can make a reappearance soon. I managed to finish all the Gonk escort quests, and I wish I recorded the mission on Exegol because that is a peak side quest.
Gonk! Oh, it's beautiful.
Completed all events in Dagobah and Endor sectors. I'm saying sectors, by the way, so I don't look silly mispronouncing some of these planets. It may get repetitive, but it's better than me trying to say Aktu or Kef Bur, more like Kef Brr.
Western Reaches. Unknown Regions.
Finished all the Jawas questline involving the faulty droids, which in turn, soon after, helped me complete all events on Geonosis and Tatooine.
Hey, what are you trying to push on us? The Arcanus sector?
Used some Jedi mind tricks before I left to make 5 people fight in the cantina.
Ah, cool. Jedi business.
Rode all creatures in the galaxy. Not that way, you perv.
I've never seen a real one. Ride all creatures throughout the galaxy. Thank goodness, because some of these were saying to go back into the levels. I'm like so far past the levels.
Collected all 19 data cards, which can I say, not as useful as the typical red bricks outside of the stud multipliers and collectible highlighter.
Woohoo! What have you done with those plants?
Completed all events in Bespin sector.
Greater Yavin? Javin? We have a Yavin. Maybe it's Javin.
Collected 1,000 Kyber bricks, which is weird given you need over 100 more to completely level up each character class.
You may fire when ready.
Completed all events in Naboo and Coruscant sectors.
Trailing sectors. Ooh, the interior. Oh, right, we finished this part of the galaxy. I was not even paying attention.
And with one more sector remaining, we started really getting trophies and quick. Finally having enough of these stupid Kyber bricks to fully upgrade all the character classes.
Woohoo! Power. Unlimited power.
And with the final race of 38 across the galaxy complete, completed all races, completed all events in Yavin 4 sector, and completed all of the events in the galaxy.
New territories. There we go. Complete all events on Cantonica, Yavin 4, and Ajan Kloss. And see you around, kid. All the events in the galaxy done. The fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy. Okay, that's all the races.
But we weren't done just yet, even though that would have been a dope way to grab the platinum. Who doesn't love a final parade of trophies? No, first I needed to actually buy all the characters I'd gone through the trouble of unlocking. Again, unlocking the privilege to buy, which while studs are no issue at this point, still, why?
Oh, hello there.
And that just left the galaxy challenges between me and this game's godforsaken platinum trophy. Again, there are 10 challenges to complete in the galaxy, and most are just for finding something. For example, the Wandering Wookiee is on all planets and capital ships, mouse droids need destroying, or the stupid lizards that should be the new eye exam technique. They're so sneaky. But all I had left was one shooting range mission left to complete. So I went to space, summoned the Trade Federation capital ship, and pretty comfortably beat the shooting challenge. And after 79 hours, the Skywalker Saga's platinum trophy was finally mine.
Do or do not, there is no try. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Oh my good lord. Thank Christmas that is over.
So, after 79 hours in total, still 21 hours better than the guide, but at what cost? What did I think of LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga's Platinum, and the game in general. Well, I think I made my thoughts on both clear, but just to reiterate, I know all of our attention spans do be suffering these days. The Skywalker Saga as a game from a play it and put it down perspective is one of my favorites from Traveler's Tales. The levels are good fun, I never get tired of reliving these awesome and even not so awesome movies in LEGO, and the gameplay is a big step up in the series. I actually used the blaster characters primarily for once, and that just goes to show how much better that aspect is. I'd love to see more IPs get this type of treatment, like Lord of the Rings, Indiana Jones, Pirates of the Caribbean, whatever, because the foundation is solid for more games like this from the devs. They just really need to work on that completionist side of things. The Galaxy completion is just too much filler content for the sake of extending playtime, and it's a miserable experience with moments of joy. Again, if you halve the so-called content on these planets, or just make them more unique from one another and get rid of the meaningless back and forth, then I'm not sitting here having a bitch for half the video. As a game, absolutely, I recommend playing the Skywalker Saga, but from a platinum perspective, don't touch it. It's not worth it. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far into the video, make sure to leave a comment with a simple get well soon to let me know that you made it to the end, and I just need it after this whole thing, if I'm honest. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to leave it a like because it helps let me know that you enjoyed yourself. Comment below some more games you want to see get platinum next, as well as answering what's the biggest grind you've endured for a platinum trophy or 100%. Thank you to all my channel members for that extra level of support, and special thanks to those in the Bear Club: G&T Papi, Jackie White, Nugget, Darkwolf, Daniel Fitzgerald, Scott Unwin, Steel Vanguard, NPO Crusader, Zafado, Nef, and Marcel. It really does mean a lot to me. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Go give my socials a follow if you fancy @MayorHairBear. Join the Discord server to have a chat. Go and chuck me a follow on Twitch if you want to see some of these platinum journeys live, or MayorHairBear VODs if those pesky time zones don't line up for you. And I'll catch you all in the next video.